Why is analogy key to word evolution? Imagine trying to learn a new game without any rules or patterns. It would be confusing and hard to get the hang of. That's where analogy comes in, helping us understand and shape language. When we look at how words change over time, analogy acts like a guiding map. It shows us how new words are formed by copying familiar patterns from existing words. Think about how in English, most past tense verbs end with ed. Words like jumped or walked follow this pattern. When irregular verbs like help used to have a different past form like holp, people started using helped because it fit the common ed pattern. This process is called morphological leveling, where unusual forms become regular through analogy. Analogy also helps create new words by extending what we already know. For example, software was made by copying the pattern from hardware. Then, other related words like firmware followed the same style. This shows how analogy supports building vocabulary naturally, making new words easier to understand and remember. From a language perspective, analogy influences not just individual words but also grammar, pronunciation, and meaning. It explains why some irregular forms become regular over time and how meanings shift across related words. This process keeps languages flexible and adaptable. For language learners and teachers, recognizing these patterns makes understanding complex rules easier. When you see how words relate through analogy, it becomes simpler to predict new forms or create your own expressions. It's like having a shortcut to mastering language rules. To sum up, analogy shapes how words evolve by copying familiar patterns, making irregular forms regular, and helping us build new vocabulary. It influences pronunciation, grammar, and meaning, keeping language organized yet flexible. For example, the verb dive used to have the past dived, but some started saying dove by analogy with drive and drove. In sentences, you might hear, the past tense helped replaced holp because it followed the common ed pattern. Or new words like software are made by analogy with hardware. And learners find it easier to remember verb forms when they see the pattern through analogy. So, analogy is a vital part of how language changes and grows, connecting word origins, structures, and everyday use. It keeps our language organized while allowing room for new ideas and expressions.